Hello. Let me get my YouTuber stuff out so I can see what's happening. Hello. Welcome to the stream. I was late by a lot. That was my fault. I completely spaced that I was having a stream today and completely forgot to even think about it. That is my bad. We should be live now. Yeah, it looks like we're live. I think we're good. No, for real. Indev did such a specific number. I know. Well, I know he's in the Discord. I don't know where he went though. Well, hi. I'm so glad that everyone could make it to my definitely on time stream. I completely forgot. I was over here like, let me just work on some projects behind the scenes, do some things, get some stuff done. I got all this time in the world. I don't know what's going on. I got nothing to do today besides work on projects. Who needs to think about streaming? Let me get some music going to get some background sounds. Where did my thing go? Here it is. All right, don't copyright me this time. Pretty please. Hopefully that's loud enough. Hopefully it's audible. You can hopefully hear that. What's my hair doing? Hair, cooperate. I'm using the NVIDIA. If it'll, there we go. I'm using the NVIDIA broadcast thing, but it's kind of ass. Keeps losing where my head actually is. It keeps not knowing what my head is. The 2 hours and 15 minutes late, so specific, is so funny. I don't have a plan for today. Do we just want to look at, I don't know. Do we have any tools that have come out recently? Any recommendations from the chat? Here, I might actually share the live link so people on the Discord can see it if they haven't seen it already, because I don't think it sends out a notification until like after the stream is done, which is really dumb. That's defiantly. That's not definitely. Maybe that is. It looks like defiantly. Oh well, is what I'm gonna send. Man, spelling is annoying as heck. I know that's pretty much all I'm talking about, but does anyone want to talk about the new macro creator? I know I just had some changes that people probably don't like. I'm not a huge fan of the change either to get rid of the $15 a month plan and just combine the two plans and get rid of getting the macro creator with it. After talking to that consultant, it makes a lot more sense to do it as like an add-on feature instead of doing you get it with the subscription as well. For one, there's danger of like someone could pirate it super easily that way if they somehow bypass my system. Actually, there is an exact release date. I have a countdown link that I've sent out to people. Let me get that for you. I can't guarantee that it's gonna be this exact day. Technically, I know for a fact it's not going to be. Um, because I don't post videos on the day that that's going to be counting down to. But that is exactly 10 days before ResolveCon. So I want to at least have it able to be posted by that day. And then I have like the couple of days after that to finish getting the videos ready. So that's kind of my idea behind that. Like, you won't see any actual promotions for it until the Friday of that week. But there is a countdown for it if you want to see that. Welcome back into Dev. I definitely have on time. Definitely not running late. Thank you for reminding me. No one mentioned it yet until you came along, and I was like, oh, it's 4. I said I'd be streaming at 2. Shit. Thank you. Man. Really awkward, but thank you again. I don't really have a plan, so like, what do we want to talk about? What do we want to look at? Any questions, obviously, that's always available to answer. I can talk about the new macro creator, talk about features in it, how to do certain things with macros, uh, things I'm working on besides the macro creator, if you want to talk about some stuff there. I don't know how confidential some stuff is. I know that one thing has been talked about briefly by the, not really the creator, but by the YouTuber. He's mentioned it some for the thing I'm working on with him, so I know I can probably somewhat talk about the things I'm working on, but not everything, probably. Because there's quite a few things. I can maybe talk about something that we were trying to do, but we couldn't actually figure out how to make it work. And actually, if somebody can help me figure that out, we might actually be able to finish this and actually do this sooner than later. If anyone wants to see the stuff I'm working on, let me know. Because I'm not sure if, like, you guys would be interested. DaVinci's taking so long. Well, if DaVinci can load, I would happily show it to you. It's just like, can't load a project, sorry. So give me a second here. But those of you who know, in the past, I've worked with Orson Lord. He's the guy who made Snap Captions, and he's done a bunch of other like template caption packs for his tool. And I updated the creator pack, and I made the tool called Snap Ultimate. It's essentially like a caption builder base tool. It has a bunch of base functions on it, and then Orson's added stuff to other versions of it to make different animation preset types. And he wanted me to update Snap Ultimate to update the Snap Emphasis feature. I might just have to close Resolve because it's not loading. Because Snap Emphasis can switch between 2 separate lines. So like if a top line and then a bottom line, you can like, oh, now it's loaded. Right as I tried closing it, it loads. That's weird. So like you could do top line, bottom line, and it makes the top line bigger, then jumps to the bottom line, and reverses it. If you've seen Snap Ultimate, you know what I'm talking about. I'll pull it up real quick here too, because it finally loaded for me. There we go. So this is Snap Ultimate by default. It does the yellow. It does yellow bigger, and then it jumps down to the bottom. It just does it halfway through, and it only supports 2 lines. He and I wanted to update it to where you could just enable emphasis, and when you turned it on, it would set keyframes in places depending on how many lines of text you had, and then we would just animate the different lines of text to this animation over the span of time. And we use keyframes so that it was a little bit less laggy, because it tended to be a bit laggier with how we're doing it now with modifiers and masks and a bunch of crazy stuff. We were hoping to make it even easier. The problem is detecting where the line breaks are and like the size of the text and putting the line breaks in the right spots. We couldn't quite figure out how to animate that. So right now we're just sticking to the 2 lines system. But if we were able to figure out, like with a modifier, how we could potentially animate, because we have followers and we have character level styling. And I think either one of these could be good. The only issue is we would need to be able to detect the characters to select in here. And Orson showed me this. There's like metadata stored inside of character level stylings that stores that information of like, okay, this selection of characters has these effects on it, and this selection of characters has these effects on it. So you could theoretically do it, but I tested out a function inside of button code. Well, actually not inside of the button code, but inside of my code over here. I tested out a function that would look at the string and give me the indexes of the first and last characters in each of the lines, so I could do something like that. And every time I tried running that function, it would crash resolve. So that may not be possible inside of like tiny localized functions here. But cool thing about what I had done is, if you just had one line, which snap emphasis wouldn't work on because you'd get a result like this. If you tried to activate it with one line, well, first you have to turn it off. But if you tried to turn it on with one line, it would, we're crashing, I think. Something else has gone wrong here. I don't know what's happened to this, but it's crashing. But it's supposed to bring up a window. It used to, but I wonder if I broke something, and that also might be why the function stopped working. But yeah, having complex things happening inside of buttons is very unreliable, I've noticed. Like you can definitely do a lot of cool things with it, but there are a lot of more powerful Lua things, including popping up a Fusion UI window, which is possible with buttons normally, but with everything else going on inside of that function, it is impossible because this function, well, it's crashing, so I couldn't scroll to it to show you, but let me reload it. But this function has the on and off logic and the logic to code the animations for each of the different presets. Because we can do 2 lines, 3 lines, and 4 lines of text. Or at least we could have if we got that function, or if we got the animation idea working. But we couldn't figure out how to actually animate it with keyframes, with modifiers, and make it less laggy than it currently is now. Because otherwise, we would just be adding a bunch of crap into this, and it would probably be making it more laggy to make it account for every possibility. So yeah, we probably won't be updating that for a while until either we think of a different idea or somebody has a good solution to animate it. If I didn't describe that well enough, if anybody wants to help, let me know. I'll be happy to explain some more. Hey Henry, how's it going? I'm just talking about some projects I'm working on. Just talking about a project I was going to work with Orson Lord on. I was going to update his Snap Ultimate, but there were some things that we couldn't figure out. So I was just talking about what we did there. You can always go back in the stream and watch that. I don't really feel like explaining it all again because it was quite a bit. But I'm also working on something else for Orson that's coming out maybe in the next couple days. Depends on if he wants to do some more testing or something. But it might be done currently, to be fair. It might just be done and it might be releasing after this weekend. I don't know. But it's pretty cool stuff I'm working on. There's also another project in the near-ish future that I'm working on for a different creator. Though there is a way to render just specific parts, right? To make it less laggy. When we're talking about like a captioning template, so like well, this is to be used for Snap Captions. So like it needs to be able to change for each caption. So you can't just like render out a specific part, because it's always going to be changing, because it's text, it's dynamic text, it'll always change. But yeah, there's other stuff I'm working on for a different creator, and that's going to be a title, or not title, a transitions pack, I think, which looks really cool. I can't wait till we actually get to work on it, but he's busy, I think, moving, so he won't be available for a minute. I think he's still finishing that up. He hasn't talked to me in a minute, so I bet he's still pretty busy with that and with just YouTube stuff. I don't blame people for YouTube stuff now that I'm doing it. It's taking up a lot of my time. Or if it's not that, it's development, which is kind of a me thing. I need to give myself more breaks. What else do we want to talk about? I seriously don't have anything that I really had super planned. Like I said, I honestly forgot I was supposed to stream today. I haven't touched on any of macros that I've been making personally. I haven't made any macros recently because I'm working so much on this script to make macros easier to make. Do you plan on making some famous After Effects plugins in the future, like Deep Glow, Trapcode? I don't know what either of those were, but I do know for a fact that there are some things being developed from After Effects that are looking pretty promising. And I won't get into details because I can't guarantee anything, but I do know that there might be a product in the next year or so that could be an After Effects plugin that's like really powerful. But there are some other After Effects plugins that I'll definitely be looking into in the future, because I do want to add better effects and stuff like animations and stuff for Resolve, because yeah, there's like no good effects for Resolve. There's so little. And then for Fusion, there's very few fuses. I also want to look into doing fuses, because fuses are like effects, but even more powerful because they're just custom nodes you can make do literally anything. Literally, probably in italics and air quotes, but you can do a heck of a lot with doing fuses. So I might look into doing that to do some After Effects plugins. No, but just update the viewer whenever some property changes so DaVinci doesn't have to update each frame so there's no changes made. Man, I'm getting tons of questions all at once. Obviously update everything but the text in specific. I'm not sure what you're referring to when you're talking about macros in this way. There's no way to do that without giving them a specific button to do that. I don't know how to do that otherwise. There are some things with macros I still need to look into, like some optimizing and some stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to do about that. What makes something a fusion overlay? What makes something a fusion overlay? I mean, if it overlays on something? Is there more to that question that I'm not understanding? Is there a specific, like, sub-tool category called fusion overlays? And what effects are you talking about? I'm guessing you're talking about the stuff from Resolve. Yeah. The, like, built-in effects. Let me just see here. We have binoculars. Ooh, cool. A digital glitch, which could be kind of interesting. It kind of does look kind of cool. Not a bad one there. A colored border that doesn't border. I don't know why it's on the edit page. Digital glitch. Yeah, I just saw that. A drone over. Like, some of the overlays are kind of cool, like DSLR, but a lot of it's really, really corny and super simplistic. By far the best effect is probably the DVE, because you can do fake 3D movement with that. It's pretty cool stuff. You thought you heard of some plugin, or heard Alex made some plugin and just updates dynamically when changes are made? I'll look into that. I haven't heard about that. You may be misunderstanding something that he mentioned in the video. Or I just don't know what you're talking about too. That could also be it. Because there's tons of stuff I don't know. So it could be that. I think we're not getting the information clear here. Information clear. My brain. I don't understand. So like on the edit page, you have the drop down where you can select the transform and crop. One of them is fusion overlay. Oh. So a fusion overlay. Right. I knew I recognized the words like put together like that somewhere, but I couldn't remember where. Maybe I don't know what you're talking about. So go back in the stream and maybe you'll understand. I'm not sure what you're talking about, to be fair, so I'm not sure if I can help you there. But a fusion overlay, let's just go to my like presets that I've been working on. So a fusion overlay is anything that you can see in the fusion page, and if you've selected that control as a instanced input, like a there, I'll go so you can actually kind of see this. If you add a control as an instance input from another node to a macro, you'll inherit the fusion overlay controls by default. And certain controls can have fusion overlays, but essentially it's just whatever GUI is on the screen. So if we're in here and we click on this, we can see we have the on-screen controls. And if we were to click on some of these nodes, we're going to see that they have their own on-screen controls. But because none of the controls from this node specifically are on the actual macro, you don't see these specific controls. There are ways to disable them, disable certain overlays, like the show view controls. You can disable that, and that will be disabled for this view and for looking at the node itself. And there are ways to disable on-screen controls that aren't like a mask, because like you can only really do this for masks because other things don't have this button. But there is a way to hide them. The problem is I've never gotten it to work, so I couldn't tell you exactly how to do it. But I do know that it is actually meant to exist. If it works still or not, that's up in the air. Yeah, Xglow is pretty good. It's not directly from Fusion. Xglow is a Reactor thing, so you'd have to like go to Reactor or on the WeSuckLess forum, download Reactor and install it, and then download Xglow from there. It doesn't just come built in. I mean, I'd imagine that you could just do the @ sign, right? And then just tag them like that. I don't know. Maybe if you click their name, you can do a tag. I don't know. I don't comment much on live streams for YouTube. By the way, this is a screen utility tool for anyone who doesn't know what this is. This will just animate stuff on the screen. So you can animate to just zoom in to a specific spot on the screen. If it'll update, I may have to get a new version. Oh, this was, oh, okay. Here, let's just get a brand new version from over here. This tool, I've already turned it into a macro, but I may do it again when I finish the macro creator. But this tool is how I animate all my videos. I usually like to use just a full screen anim because it's simple and fast. And you can set the pivot point, so like its focus area. Oh, we're gonna crash again? Okay. It stopped moving, so I didn't know. So you can zoom into like a specific spot over here, for example, and then it will just animate it for you. It moved. Oh, is it because this is an edited video? Yeah, because the video below it is edited. It moved it for me. It did extra moves that it shouldn't have done, but yeah, it just moves it fine. Like if we disable this, you'll see this is gonna do some zooming on its own because that's just what it's doing. So let's put it over here. Maybe we'll get a better result over here. Yeah. So we zoom in on a spot. We can get real close to it. We can set up another animation just for pivot, so we can pivot to another spot on the screen. So we can move your attention somewhere else. We can set when this move is going to happen by seconds. And I can just figure out, okay, I want it to move. I want it to be like halfway moving right there. So I know that it's going to move into there. At that spot, it's going to move over here, and then it's going to zoom back out to where it was. Now, because there's another zoom happening in the video, there was some weird stuff that happened, so this extra zoom wasn't meant to be visible in that, but yeah. It's just an example to show you what it can do. This is going to come out eventually. Just right now, it's not. It's still being worked on. I still want to optimize it. There's still some features I want to add, stuff like that, but I need to redo it. This was a good test run of making it into a good macro, but let's actually make it better now that I have better tools. I know that tagging actually worked. You know Xglow, but Deep Glow has a different fall off. Interesting. And it's way faster. I've already tried cloning it with my Deep Glow macro, but unfortunately it's really slow. That is also the problem with Fusion is that you make a cool effect, but you can't optimize it super well sometimes. So you just have a really cool effect, but it runs at 1 FPS. And it just it ends up being like that. And sometimes you gotta fiddle around with it some more, but sometimes you're just stuck with having a really slow macro that you just have to adjust ever so slightly in different places to make it a little bit faster, but you'll never get it great. In some cases, you can usually fix it or change the way you're doing it or something. Yeah, there's a bunch of different glow effects. You can do a lot of different things with like combining glows, rays, brightness and contrasts, different colorizations. I'm sure if you included the proto fuse, what does proto use? What's the fuse that proto likes to have in it or requires in it? Let me see. I'm always forgetting. The Tintensity fuse. Tintensity basically just recolors things accurately. It's essentially just like a powerful recoloring tool. It doesn't do anything besides that. Yeah, Tintensity. This is a really cool glowing thing. I wish that he would just sell the glow itself. But yeah, I think you have to pay for Ecto Glow. People are selling glows? I say that. I'm selling things that probably could be not sold, to be fair, probably. But a glow node? How much is the Ecto Glow? I'm pretty impressed at how fast this runs, by the way. Like, this is running at full speed on 24 frames a second. That's pretty cool. Oh, it's part of a big plugin like Sapphire. Ah, that makes more sense. I was gonna say they're just selling a single glow node. What is that about? Okay, it's sort of a pack. That makes more sense. I'm also working on like an extreme YouTuber animation suite set, whatever you want to call it. And it looks like something's happened to my text. 2 of my text is gone. Who knows where that's at? That's why it's expensive, yeah. But I'm also working on a few other things. Like I've been working on like an ultimate title plugin that like it makes things super easy to animate titles. You'll have masks, different effects like glows and shadows. You're able to insert in like a logo. You're able to do like lists of things and evenly space them. And I want to say all of this is hoped to be in this tool. I can't really guarantee it because this tool is currently an empty Fusion composition. Because this is all just like stuff I want to add in there. But if it gets too laggy, I'll have to rethink it and try to figure out different ways to do it. The effect you really want in Fusion is pixel sorting. It's in version 3 already. There's a similar effect, but not with the customization you want. I'll be honest, I've never used pixel sorting, but I think I have a plugin for that. I got it from somewhere. If I can spell pixel, geez. Okay, not in there. Is it in effect? I saw pixel sorting somewhere. I don't know where I saw the pixel sorting though. This is something from Slaveless. It's pretty cool. Good job, Slaveless. Good job, Slaveless. I say that, but I'm gonna judge your logo real quick because what the heck is this? What is that, man? Come on. Get some high quality crap going. I do specify in the macro creator now the more ideal sizes for an image inside of your macros, so that will hopefully help narrow down what the sizes are being put as. Yeah. I'm wearing the same shirt as this video. I am. I don't have that many shirts. I gotta mention it every time, dude. It's so pixely. How is it that pixely? Like how did you make it bigger than it would have been? If you put it in at its original size, it probably would have looked better. That sounds mean. You have one, it's a node, but it just has the slider and that's all. Pixel sorting for me has way more customization. I'll look into pixel sorting. I don't know if I can figure it out because pixel sorting I think is like a decently difficult algorithm. But I bet you we can probably have a pixel sorting fuse. So the descriptions aren't from the people from Reactor. The descriptions are made by the user. In fact, let me show you how it's done. If we go into my example comp that I have for nodes, just because I want a fusion opposition for this, if I go down to Reactor, I will say though, the organization does need an update because there is no specific macro category. All macros go inside of a tool category. It's really weird. So the way that you make a Reactor submission, because anybody can make a Reactor submission, you can package up your stuff, zip it up and send it off to people at Reactor on the forum, and they'll say, hey, change these things or it's good to go. And then you'll have that uploaded and it's ready to go. What you do is you can either open an existing package, create a new one, or create a new one from your clipboard if you have like a nodes copied. Well, let's just make a new one. I'm gonna put it just on my desktop just so I can delete it easily afterwards. And I'll keep all the default naming for the package name because I don't need to worry about that. But you would put like you or your company name and then either your like tool pack or whatever specific tool you're giving the user in this download. You continue and then you have this giant ugly window because I want to give you as much room for your HTML editing as possible. But you give your name, your package name. This is the same information from the previous screen. And then you select where it's going into. And you have this giant fucking list. And the where you would put macros is under tools in creator. That is where macros go. You could probably put them in a couple other places in here. But this is the main place where they're at. And that's really dumb. But that's not important. It autofills with 1 for your version number, but you can put in a version number, and this is displayed on Reactor. You give the date of packaging it up or creating it. You give a donation link and the recommended amount, and then you code your own description with HTML. So you'd give it, we'll give it H1 or H2. And we'll just say enum utility. Like this is what I did when I made my enum utility submission. Is I designed it like this. Is there a centering option? Can you not center it? That's a list item. That's from you? What's from you? Oh no. Oh, it's gone. You just removed the message. Also, you can't hover over them and it tells you what it is. That's really annoying. They don't have tooltips enabled. Sorry, and I'm just harping on Reactor's atomizer, but it gives you a little preview of what it's going to look like. You put in any fuses or any other tools you may have used inside of your tool that needs to be downloaded for the other user. And then you put in the folders and files that need to be created and added to the download for the Reactor item. And then it just tells you the folder path again. And then I was contacted by a Reactor to make macros easier to package up. So in the new macro creator, if we give it just a random name, I'll just call it test. We don't have to give it any controls or anything, just to test it out. I can open up my Reactor thing, and it looks like there's an error for some reason. Why are you doing that? 5931. Let me quickly see if I can change this. My logo looks like that because in your video you said, well, if it's smaller, that's fine. I was just saying 300 is like the largest it should be, not the ideal size regardless of how small it is. If it's bigger than that, reduce it down to 300. But if it's smaller than that, you can keep it at that smaller size. You don't have to have it at that specific size. All right, what was the 5931? Let me go find that line. Down here in the abyss. 59, it's somewhere in between here. It's in generate macro. Ah, shit. Okay. Okay, I have to do something to fix that. That's on me. I did not even think about that being an issue. It was too big originally. I thought it was just a really small logo. I thought that's why it was really blurry. Sorry, I was apparently watching the stream a few minutes back. You were saying that you added resolution recommendations to the creator. That's why I said that was me. Yes, that was you. Yes. I thought it might have been you. It was either you or Henry. I couldn't remember off the top of my head who it was. But yeah, I added those and they look like they're good. I didn't know you can have images in macros. Yes, you can. You can I have a picture of this? Maybe on the forum. Let me see real fast. Let me just get an example of it. There's a post from the admin. I'll have to take a look at that later. But oh no, I don't have an example of it right now. You can, yeah. I'll have to show it to you later. Oh boy. I am going to read over this later. That is a lot to look at. That was a long post from Second Man. Okay. 5931. 5931, yeah. Yes. In the little thumbnails on the menus. Yeah, you can have icons on the tabs, yes. That is something on the post I can show you. I'll have to get back to it now. Look at that. You can put custom icons. You can also get rid of pages, which I did talk about in a video. Yeah, you can select different icons from Resolve to put onto your macro. It's super cool stuff. You can obviously then rename or recolor stuff and all that. You can also add tooltips to these as well. And they'll show up, I think, only in Fusion, along with the icons are only a Fusion thing. But on the edit page, if you right click in this sort of area where the labels are at, you do still see the icons in like a little drop down list. So that's kind of cool. But it's not a permanent thing like it is in Fusion to where like you always see it if the user has icons enabled. Let me put this back. Will you do another reviewing your macros, by the way? Of course, yeah. I've done a few reviews of macros without making a whole stream dedicated to the name of it. I have done some before in previous streams, but if I have a bunch of macros in my in the macros channel on the Discord, in this Discord, God, it's so clean now. What's so clean? Hey, we got someone new to the Discord. How's it going, M? Whenever M is. But over here in macro reviews, if you drop your macro into here, I will review it on stream. I'll talk about it. Oh, the UI for... The UI for what? Because you don't tag any message there. But yeah, right now I just don't have any new macros to look at. That's why I haven't done it in a minute. If you want to join the Discord, that is the last link in the description, I think. It's different for live streams versus videos because I just haven't changed the stream stuff. For your script, you cleaned it up. I'll show you when it's finished. Oh, good. I can't wait to see it. Sleeping Sage has been working on updating my marker to chapter script. Like for YouTube creators who want to use markers to mark different chapters in their timeline for posting their video to YouTube. You just label each marker with what the different content is for that section. And then you can give it a different color, and then you can turn those into time codes to put into your YouTube description. Yeah, pretty cool stuff. And yeah, it looks like Sleeping Sage has recently updated it. There's a bunch of other features on that too. Don't just think that it's just that. That was basically just my script. Sleeping Sage has updated it to be way cooler. Definitely check it out if it ever gets released. Do you think if I sell a macro to someone because I'm planning on selling a macro I made for a company to make their life easier and way faster, do you think is good to have my logo and name on it? If it's just to just someone, is this somebody that you know, or is this somebody online? Will this macro be shared? I would say if it's just by you, just giving it to like one other person where it may or may not be shared, I would say at the very least have comments on it. Like if you want to use traditional macro stylings, I'll show you guys the reactor window in the next stream because that'll be done by then. I'll have everything fixed by then. I'm hoping to have everything done this week. There's still a few things I got to fix. But if you want to, on your macro, let's find an actual macro. Yeah, on your macro, if you want to go to your settings page and like put a comment in there, and like just say by Henry, some other comments, some like links if you want to put a link in there. I don't think they'll be clickable, but they can at least copy the link. Or you can add a button to your to an extra screen or something as well. But yeah, if it's just for one person or one company, having branding on it isn't the most important thing. But at the very least, having your name in it so that they know who to contact again, that may be good to have. But a whole logo maybe just be too much. People I've learned don't like logos on their stuff, unlike the macros they get. I'm sure people are not happy with the way that Anim Utility handles it, where it's just there's a logo on every single modifier. But I just did that to help bring it all seamlessly together so it all feels like it's cohesive. So you know, hey, this is Anim Utility, not just some random modifiers. I don't know. There's certain cases where logos I think are really cool to have, but generally a logo in a macro is not as common as having an image act as a label or as extra explanation for a control or something like that. Like there is some, I don't know if I'll be able to find it, but someone at some point gave me some titles that actually had some really cool looking controls because it had some images being used and it was really cool. If I could find it, I'd love to do that. Yeah, just a contact or something. Yeah, just contact. No idea if I'll be able to find it. Also, this is cool, but I think this is just some lines. Not actually like on screen. Yeah, because I have that disabled, yeah. I'm gonna put them in everything. I mean, you totally can. It does not matter. And like in the long run, it's just down to you and your customers if you ever end up selling. Do you think Reactor would be able to become a Discord server instead of the online forum? Do you mean Resuck Less, the actual forum? Because Reactor is just the script name, but the Resuck Less team could be a Discord server. I doubt they're gonna do that though, because of other things they have set up on there. Like they have a lot of stuff set up. I'm trying to even think about everything they have on here. But we have links to the old VFXpedia that they've been hosting, which is part of this same domain. So that may be something that if they did change it, it would have to change. A password generator, which is weird. I don't know why that's just a thing on here. They have a general chat room, which is interesting. That's just a regular old Discord feature. They have a world map. We could always have a link for that. I don't know, they could totally have this as a Discord with a bunch of forums. Like on my Discord, I have a bunch of these forums on the left. We could totally just have a bunch of these for different topics instead of having, well, different forums on the website. I guess the only issue is there's no, I don't know, there's just some features that I feel like are very exclusive to We Suck Less and Second Man's management of that, because he's been doing all of that self-funded for 10 years now. It's officially the 10-year anniversary of We Suck Less. I do agree that it probably would be better looking on a Discord server, but yeah, as Sleeveless says, there's a lot more freedom as an actual standalone forum website, yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I was starting to read actually part of his answer to my, or not really answer to my post, but just as a response to some things happening in the comments of my post for the macro creator, Second Mate actually mentions Discord is nice for chatting, but it's terrible for storing information. It's not curated, nor does it get indexed by search engines. So any content on it won't be found by the likes of Google. We Suck Less gets almost 20,000 hits per month from Google searches alone, to give you an idea of how important that is. You'll come back later. I might not be streaming for, I don't know. I might stream for another half hour. I'm not sure. But yeah, it looks like Second Man does have very strong opinions on like using Discord for storing information, and I get that absolutely. You can't index that stuff on Google, but it is a good place to write out the ideas for documentation to make a proper like forum or something to post the stuff on. And I think down the line we might just start converting the Discord forum into actual stuff. Yeah, plus Discord could just up and delete it. Yeah, Discord does that all the time. Discord is super unreliable. I won't show you guys the actual post. It's not private to me. You guys can go look at it. But just in case there's some sensitive stuff in here, I don't want to like out me or somebody else just out of nowhere for something maybe. I don't know. I'm just reading the post now. If anybody wants to ask any questions or anything, please feel free to ask any questions. I'm just distracted by reading this. I don't really have much to touch on, so that's why I'm just kind of reading this right now. I might even switch to here so you're not just looking at my other screen for no reason. If there's anything else you want to talk about, feel free. If there's honestly nothing else, I might end the stream now then. But I'm happy to stick around for like a little bit longer if you guys want to ask questions or talk about anything in particular. But I can't think of anything that I really need to talk about right now. We could talk about what we want to see at the ResolveCon, because ResolveCon is coming out soon. In 17 days, they have their own counter. I didn't even notice that. I made my counter for the new macro creator. Didn't even think about the fact they'd have one here too. Yeah, we have the list of people who are going to be here, and we have all their presentations. So can you guys see that? Is that visible for you guys? I know that streaming quality sucks sometimes. Do I have to zoom in? Do you program outside of DaVinci Resolve? What was your first programming language? These are good questions. I like these questions. It's about me, that's why. JK. I don't really program outside of Resolve. To be honest, the macro crit is the only thing I'm looking forward to there. It's not going to be at ResolveCon. I wish it would be. But if they talk about it, that'd be awesome. I'm going to send the YouTubers the link for that to get the macro creator next weekend. So like a week from today, I'll be sending out the emails. So it could be talked about. I don't know. It'd be really sick, but I have no idea. Yeah, it won't be directly there. I won't be there because it's in a different state. Where is it at? What state is it actually in? Does it say on here? I'm guessing it's West Coast, which is a little far away from where I'm at. I won't give super detailed, but I'm basically on the opposite side of the country. I'm basically on the east side of the country from that. But I don't program outside of Resolve too much. My first my first programming language was Python. I got a Raspberry Pi, if you know what those little tiny computers are, like the size of a credit card. And I started coding, I started learning how to code stuff for Minecraft Pi, which is like a Minecraft Pocket. Isn't it like Midwest where it's all online? There is a bunch of online stuff, but it is also in person, I think. West Coast. It says all times are listed in Pacific time zone, so I'm guessing it's West Coast because that's what it says on the website there. But I don't see an exact location. But I was beginning to code stuff for Minecraft Pi, which is a Minecraft Pocket Edition port for Python, and it was really cool. And I tried to make Flappy Bird because there was around that time when it was like kind of cool, right after it had like just been taken off the App Store. And I was trying to recreate it, but I just couldn't get some of the ideas in my head because I was still super novice and I didn't understand some things, but I got pretty far. It was a pretty cool experience overall. And then I coded some for school. I did a little bit of coding classes in school. And I also coded in partnership with another student who I never really spoke to that often because we were in different classes, but we both worked on the project. A magic mirror kind of project for the school to have that I don't think was ever actually used anywhere. It has a camera in it. It tells you the weather. You're able to see yourself, and that's all handmade. We coded stuff, messed with other people's packages. We used like Amazon API and stuff. The guy that hates you. No, the guy hates that he made Flappy Bird. I heard that, yeah. You're probably tired of me asking. I can't figure out why my hider isn't working. Then when I look at the controls in Notepad++, it looks completely different. This coding is not my friend. I don't know how to help you with that over stream. And I don't know how to help you with that, period. It's kind of look at how other people do it and try to replicate it. I don't, because I can't tell you what's wrong unless I see the entire picture, and then I can immediately probably tell you, oh hey, you have the syntax wrong. How easy is it to create an AI in a Fuse/script for DaVinci Resolve? It's an interesting way to phrase that. Maybe just a language thing. I don't know. Just a grammar issue. No, an AI does make sense, but having an in there doesn't. I don't know. Sorry, off topic. But it depends on what you could do. Like, people have connected to Midjourney and stuff. Oh, the stuff for connecting to DepthMap and Magic Mask, that's like Resolve's own neural engine, which I think connects to an online service or something. I'm not sure, don't quote me on that. But there have been examples of people implementing AI into scripts before. Like, there was someone implementing ChatGPT into Fusion and DaVinci Resolve. Someone implemented Midjourney, I think, to do captions. So there's that whole free captioning system. So there are ways to connect to like the APIs. And I'm guessing you could probably use the curl system. Like there's an entire curl system available in Lua scripting. And there's also, Python has its own connection to HTTP requests and online services and stuff with its own stuff. But you can totally send out API connections and get and receive data. In fact, that may be a project I'm working on in the somewhat, I don't want to say near future, but in the future, I want to be working on a project that will take your audio and remix it so you can put it at any length. Just like how you can do that in Premiere Pro, we want to do this in DaVinci with an online API. Yeah, Whisper is what I was talking about. I thought it was Midjourney. Midjourney's images. I think people have done Midjourney, like the same guy who did ChatGPT did Midjourney, I think. But yeah, like you can do a bunch of stuff with that. And doing stuff like how Magic Masks and depth maps work, that is an entirely different thing. You may be having to host a localized AI that's specifically trained to handle image inputs. I wouldn't know where to start with that. I've not really messed with that too much, but I have looked a little bit into audio APIs and a little bit of text APIs too, just out of curiosity. But I'm guessing it's just a bunch of like HTTP sending and requesting, but I don't know for sure. It's just something I haven't looked into too much. I have seen scripts with it in there, but I don't understand them because I don't, well, at least I didn't understand them when I looked at them first, but I may understand them now that I know some more things about that stuff, but who knows? I'll have to look at that script again. The ChatGPT script and Midjourney scripts aren't released, but Tom did release the script with Whisper AI, but I don't think you can directly see how he's using it. Maybe you can. I don't know. I haven't looked into his scripts too much. AI is one of the places where I've been very scared to get into. One, because it's something I don't really care too much about, and also because it could be really scary because AI is scary. And it's a really complicated part of coding that I don't understand. I know that We Suck Less is a great place to learn about that stuff if you want to learn about scripting with AIs. Because the Victor, I think is his name, who did the ChatGPT stuff, he was on We Suck Less, and that's where he communicated and talked with a bunch of people on there. And he made his YouTube videos, and they blew up. And I didn't even know that he was on We Suck Less until way after that point. It was really interesting to see his name just popping up everywhere. I get talking really fast, and my words stop making sense. I'm sorry. my mouth starts slurring all the words together in like this big old slushy soup. It's great. Good morning, Chad. Welcome to the stream. You're up a little bit earlier today. Welcome, welcome. We're just kind of talking about random stuff. I was going to be moving us into talking about what we're hoping to see from the ResolveCon stuff, but we got into talking about other stuff. A bunch of questions came in all at the same time. You get up around 5 normally? Ooh. Nasty. I only commented that because I usually stream at 7 p.m. my time, and you usually come in a little bit later than that. So I was, that's why I was like, oh, you're up earlier. That's why I said that. Let's see. Editing at lightning speed in DaVinci Resolve, not too interesting to me. Sorry, Alex. Color grading lessons for classic movies could be cool. Also, I have to check out the timing for the ResolveCon stuff to see if I can view the live stream stuff or not. Oh, maybe. Yeah, everything's in Pacific time zone. So it's starting at 8 a.m. Wednesday, so the 21st. Let me see. Let's at least see what it is in my time. I don't know what your time zone is. That's why I'm looking at just mine. AM Pacific to mine. Okay, yeah, that's 11 o'clock in the morning for me. So the first event's going to be 11 o'clock in the morning on a Wednesday. Why are they doing that? To be fair, they're also doing it way more days. They have a 5-day program this time. Belgian time, 12 hours different than Eastern. Jeez. a lot of people say in AI as if AI is a noun. It's the shortened version of and means artificial intelligence. There's really no way of having a non-noun grammatically correct in such sentence. True, yeah, that is true. Yeah, it is shortened for artificial intelligence, so it does make grammatically more sense to say an AI. But it's just such commonplace that I just didn't expect it in the sentence. So my bad, dude. Let's see, what else we got? How to use text like a pro in Resolve. That could be really cool. That could be a really good one. Make your dialogue sound professional in Fairlight. Could be good. And then there's a lightsabers one. How to make lightsabers in Resolve. This is weird because didn't Casey do like 3 videos about it for that? People do also refer to it as neural network, which does make sense though. Oh yeah, yeah. I think artificial intelligence makes more sense for what we're talking about though, because neural network. Yeah, I don't know. When I was referring to NAI, aren't they referring to an AI model? Yeah, so like it's an artificial intelligence model. Yeah. Maybe he's doing more advanced stuff with lightsabers. Maybe. Maybe he is. Well, I guess we'll find out what Geedly? I am so sorry, dude. I did not know. Lightsabers are one of the most basic things in Fusion. Yeah, it's just background, mask it, give it a glow. Maybe do some other stuff with other masks to make the middle white. Bam! You have a special glowing lightsaber. Yeah, so I think an AI makes sense contextually and grammarly, yeah. The better term is machine learning, yeah, ML for machine learning, but AI has been the term, yeah, big companies use. Yeah, because it's not really AI, right? It's really just machines that have learned how they can respond to different inputs. It's not really exact intelligence. It's just response based off of input. Yeah, AI is the sexy term. Let's see. Darren is going to do a node tree for color grading. That's pretty cool. I feel like I've already seen that video from Darren before, though. A lot of this stuff feels like just YouTube videos that have been rehashed a little bit. Yeah, YouTube. Yeah, AI is a buzzword. Like when we called URL universal, now it's uniform. Because universal is inaccurate. Interesting. I didn't know we used to have a different name for URL. I thought it was just always uniform. Multicam workflows in DaVinci Resolve. If I don't see a speed editor in this person's time, I'm gonna be upset, because that's the entire purpose of speed editor, is for multicam stuff, and if it's never talked about, I'm gonna be a little upset. A guide to fusion expressions. Ooh, this is a good one from Jake. This is gonna be a great one, I'm sure. But they always get into just super basic stuff. They never talked about like the actual more advanced stuff. Like he's probably going to talk about how to get the frame rate and how to connect controls, doing math with controls, like to animate things over time. It's not going to be anything probably super crazy. The secret awesomeness of composite modes in the color page. That is a good point. There are some cool composite modes. The power of shape nodes in the Fusion system. Also a great one from Patrick. That's great. Have you tried using Claude 3.5 or ChatGPT to make scripts in Resolve? I have used GPT some to like help me with some stuff, especially with the string functions in Lua. I don't understand some of the more advanced string stuff you can do, because you can have a lot of filters and that do really advanced checking, and I don't understand that stuff sometimes. So I asked Resolve to make me functions to do a bunch of like bulk string operations or functions, whatever they're called. Or it'll check something I've already worked on, and I'll be like, hey, this is doing this weird behavior. Can you try to fix it? And then it'll try about 20 times, and I'll have to go back in and fix it myself, which is fine, but I just wasted some time. But I usually am able to just fix it myself anyway. So ChatGPT I found to be 60% helpful. I've used some LLMs, I don't know what that means, to help convert Python logic to Lua. Mostly local models or the native one, or the native to Codem extension. You're always talking about stuff that goes over my head. I'm not good with complicated stuff like that. I do kind of understand what you're saying, but the specific terms you're using, I don't know what they are. I'm going to awkwardly move back to looking at these. Next level 3D in Fusion with USD. That could be really, really fucking cool. That's going to be a really good one. How to fake any lens in DaVinci Resolve. I don't even know what that means, to be fair. How do you even do that? I'm happy to find out, but I don't know how they're going to start. The five levels to look... I read that wrong. The 5 levels of look development in DaVinci... Why am I adding words where they're not words there? In color. Just the 5 levels of look development in color. They could have phrased that better. LLM, large language model. Okay. Codium is a VS Code extension that lets you use... Oh, yeah. I've seen stuff like that. Is that a free add-on? Because I've seen there's stuff like... I think GitHub has a Copilot kind of thing now that they're trying to implement into different softwares like that. Is that one free? Like, is Codium free? Because I'd be actually kind of interested to check that out. Creating epic cinematic titles in Fusion. It's a paid tier, but there's a free tier for individuals. I might look at that. That could be good. Okay, so this is the weekdays. Okay. Then we get into the weekend, and the weekend has a separation line for some reason. Let's see. Work remotely with professional cloud collaborative workflow. The names on these. The weekend has the paid tiers. Oh, is this when you can like pay to have different workshops? Ah. I'm guessing you can still view these on like the stream, but you can't actually get hands-on with it, I'm guessing. That's how they used to do it. I hope that's how they do it now. Yeah, the early bird just closed. Yeah, I heard about that. I saw the emails. So hopefully they can still let us see this stuff. Yeah, I wasn't able to confirm the timing. Interesting. Deep dive on color grading skin tones could be really helpful. By the way, do we have Frenchie? Yeah, we have Frenchie. I might be meeting Frenchie soon. I'm looking forward to that. Modifiers and more, the most powerful system in Fusion. It just costs $200. That's actually great. $200 for the knowledge? I should be updating the price on the macro creator. Fuck it. No, I'm kidding. I won't. But she does some really nice color grading. She does. She's also at least acquaintanced with Orson, and we're gonna probably do some connected things. I won't get too much into detail on because it's still up in the air who might be joining us for this or if it's ever gonna happen. But there's a few things like that I might be getting involved in soon. I might be talking to some bigger creators, which is ridiculous. The fact that I have just under 700 subs and I'm over here talking to people with multi-thousand subscribers. It's ridiculous to my brain. I cannot comprehend it. Audio mixing magic for short films. That actually could be really, really helpful if he does some actually like decent mixing. And I don't want to say that Jason's bad at mixing. I don't know if I've seen him mix before, but the tutorials you see for mixing are just like bam, 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 do this. Yeah, I think I might get a lot more subs. But also I'm hitting, I think, a physical wall for developers of macros and scripts, at least that are able to be discovered from YouTube, because I have strictly slowed down my subscription game. Like, I am down 30% from last month, and the only explanation I can think of is that I'm doing mostly macro and scripting videos that aren't as widely searched for, like widely wanted by the community, because there's a lot of people like a lot of devs who enjoy and love the stuff I'm making right now, but that's a very small fraction of the community. I would say out of everybody who uses DaVinci Resolve, the people like us who are developers who make scripts, macros, fuses, other plugins, we are maybe 1%, if not less, of the actual overall people who use Resolve. We are growing slowly every day because we are like Resolve is becoming bigger, and stuff like this is becoming bigger as well. Just in general, like developing is becoming much bigger. Yeah, it's a sub community of already a niche community. Exactly, definitely less than 1%. Yeah. Happy you found my channel. Thank you, John. I'm happy that you're here. I'm glad that I'm able to teach people and people are like accepting it and like enjoying the stuff. If you want to join our Discord, by the way, like I think everyone in here who's chatted recently is in the Discord. Chad doesn't really use Discord, but like everyone else pretty much. Go check out our Discord. It's the last link in the description. We talk about development stuff all the time, all that kind of stuff, and it looks like I'm being asked to help with a macro, so let me go take a look at that. It is for speed ramping. Problem ones, I can apply it, can't change anything in the inspector anymore. Interesting. This could be a couple of issues. Yeah, I think with making the macros is going to be much bigger in the near future because people are leaving Premiere Pro and Final Cut Pro for more and more to Resolve. Yeah, Absolutely. And since there's not a lot of packs, effects, presets made for Resolve, it's going to be a huge push for people who are doing it in Premiere Pro and Final Cut Pro to want to learn how to do that stuff. And for one, it's really complicated by default, so they're not going to want to until the new macro creator is released, and it becomes a lot easier to. And it becomes a lot more similar to doing stuff like you would do in like Premiere Pro, After Effects kind of environment. I can't really say anything about Final Cut Pro because I don't know how that works. It takes time for the YouTube algo to find the right audience as you build your library of videos, and it pushes, will be pushed more once YouTube finds the right audience. Yeah. I've noticed that as long as I make sure that my description has the right information, my video title has the good information, and the thumbnail helps portray what I'm actually trying to teach, my video tends to do pretty well and find the people who are actively searching for these topics, or at least are actively looking for more topics. I found that most of my stuff does not come from searches, but from people browsing on their recommended feed, or just in a recommended feed in general. So that's definitely who I'm marketing more to than people who are trying to search for an answer. Although definitely searches are where you can get the most views for this kind of content. I'm not pushing for that because I know that people are more like me, where they won't search for things, and if they do, they'll tend to scroll for a while. Like, they won't just find the first couple ones and they'll be good, because you'll probably phrase your question to where you're using more broad terms, or you can't remember exactly what you're looking for. So like, my stuff's made for people who don't know how to search well and just like to use the recommended feed. That's generally how I like to use YouTube. Where is the file you sent me going to, by the way? Where does the speed ramping plugin go? Does that go into an effects panel for a clip? Is this a generator? What is it? That might be hard to work with, because I can't imagine people trying to put your type of content to use by passively encountering it. I'd expect it to be people that are already in the field. Yeah, that's very true. It goes into effects. Okay. My thought behind it is, I'm not getting many searches because these things aren't searched for on YouTube. They're searched for on forums and in Google, but not on YouTube, because people don't know there are actually good videos out there. Maybe if they're brand new and they know very, very like little to nothing about these topics, they might go to YouTube to search to like hope for their chances. But I feel like most people are going to look on the forums first, or look to a larger creator instead of looking to somebody just randomly to search for on YouTube. I don't know. Definitely to try some more stuff out. I don't know how to like direct my stuff to searchable stuff, because I fill out my SEO all the way to its extremes to help you search the video, but most of my views still come from recommended stuff. YouTube wants finished products. We make products. There can be crossover, but we're predominantly developers here. Yeah. But in time, there will be a larger audience and YouTube will suddenly push your content. Yeah. Then you need to make sure that SEO is good in the description. Yeah, I like to put either hashtags in my description, just general tags. I definitely like to have like a short paragraph insert describing the video to give even more possible keywords. I make sure that the thumbnail, at least I hope the thumbnail portrays what I'm trying to teach in the video, and stuff like that. So I'm trying my best to make it searchable, but it's not being searched that often. I'm getting very few searches. Let me get this though. By the way, the title matters a lot more than the description. Yeah, definitely for searching. Definitely for searching. I feel like my titles sometimes describe things really well, but then I also try to make sure that my titles don't get too in depth with the details, because people won't be looking for details. They'll probably be looking for generalized terms. which is also hard to try to predict what they could possibly be searching for, if it's not an already pretty searched for topic. It's been a few years since I worked for a larger YouTuber, so I don't know what black magic, no pun intended, goes into pleasing the algorithm nowadays. Back then it was ever evolving. It's a little bit more standardized now, I think. The first 250 characters helps for shoehorning and searches phrases. In searchable phrases, you can't convey it in the thumbnail and title. Yeah. I think that a lot of people with search for how to. All of my previous videos did bad because the one with how to in the title. I think that may be an incomplete sentence, or I just don't know what you're trying to say. I feel like that's just not a finished sentence. Besides, though, not because. That is entirely just me not being able to read. That is not the first time I've done that, too. I don't know if it was you or someone else, but I did that exact same thing to somebody. Alright, you can't see my screen. I'm putting together the effect. Is it in its own folder? Extreme Shakes. Was this from you? Oh no, Carvinci. Oh, that's cute. I like the little thing there. The little arrow. Nice icon. Nice thumbnail you got for that. Ooh, and you're using these? Nice. Okay, let's see. What exactly was the problem? Please review my macro. It's for speed ramping, but I have a problem. Once I apply it, I can't change anything in the inspector anymore. You mean these? It's very slow, but I'm sure that's just how it is. Watched a video the other day, said your name. Said name your video file. I think I saw that same video. Yes, I like to name my videos the actual files. Let me actually get one because I think it's actually really funny the way that I name them. I just dump a bunch of keywords in the actual video title. Let me find it. Oh, that's the wrong folder. The one for Friday is called this. Import media into Resolve in bulk script. Your own import plugin for media on the edit page. Like, it's like one of those really dumb, it's like one of those really super long Amazon titles. It's so goofy that it actually has an impact. It is. Like you put in a bunch of random keywords and like it actually helps in the algorithm. It's so stupid. Like, you basically are making your video title a Amazon product that is from like some bootleg company. No, the video tab, I can't change anything. Oh, in the video tab. In the video tab, you can't change anything? Ah, okay. Alright. I have a feeling I may know what may be going on. Maybe. What's next? Custom embedded metadata to show show up in... Custom embedded metadata to show up in search. You probably can embed metadata. I don't know if it'll show up in the search, but you probably can embed some metadata into it. If you start typing something in the search bar, YouTube will give suggestions on what to type next. Use that to name your file before exporting and change the title once it's uploaded. Yes, yeah. So like type in a general search term for what the video topic's about and like use that to base it off of. Okay. All right, hopefully this doesn't break anything. Sometimes these break stuff. I've had a lot of people come to me with questions. Like, I think Peach had a question in the Discord I didn't actually look at, I don't think, but people have been having problems when copying and pasting nodes in and out of Fusion, that buttons and stuff disappear. Okay, it didn't break anything this time, that's good. But I legitimately don't really know what to do about that. that is something I have come across something similar to before, but I don't know, the exact details of it are not quite words. I don't even know what I was saying just now. My brain completely shut that off. Okay. Interesting. This is a regular. If I add a transform node in here, yeah, it scales it inside of Fusion. So it should be affecting when not in Fusion. This is a new one, I gotta say. This is weird. What the fuck? I've never seen this happen before. Wait. Wait, what the fuck? What? Wait. What? So the time speed nodes are scaling it up. Or the time structure nodes are scaling it up. What? Is it a setting? No? I don't know what's going on here, to be honest with you. I know for a fact that it's the retime nodes you have here. The time structures, but I don't know why they're doing that. That's really weird. Because the image is coming in small. Yeah, but then I kept having stuff on the top left, and it was blocking stuff over there too. And also, if I cut the clip and apply it, it'll still use the full length. That may just be a weird quirk of these nodes. With the time stretchers. I legitimately don't really know what's going on. Here, I'll move you to the bottom right. I think this is maybe the most out of the way. Because there's really nothing going on down here. Unless I'm opening up the options and preferences for Resolve, but who cares about that? I don't know what's going on. I'm trying to think of what could be happening. But literally all you're having here are these retime nodes. This is definitely just a quirk of the way that Fusion works and the way that these nodes work. My thought would be, if you want to have the option to rescale it, just add a transform node after this, like before it gets to the actual output here. and that will let you at least resize it. But yeah, the issue of cutting the clip and then it just not changing the length is weird. Like if we cut this, it's gonna still, I don't know how to like look at this example. Oh no, it's taking the information from the very start of the video. It's taking the information from all the way over here and feeding that as what it's doing, because it's taking, oh, these are all random tiles. It's taking like this effect, and I saw Orson's face pop up because he's somewhere up here. Yeah, I saw him pop up, so it's definitely not doing what I think you're expecting it to do. Maybe the solution could be instead of just applying it directly to the clip, turn the clip into, okay, let's reset this, into a compound clip. That way it doesn't have the same extensions on either side. So now it's its own standalone clip. So now we're only going to have the data from inside of this specific clip. I don't know, it's still... No, I think it is... Yeah, I think this is the exact same video now, yeah. So that could be a way to avoid that issue. But then you still have the issue of if you try to change the size of it, the nodes inside of it break it. So I would just suggest having your own transform controls in here and just using it on compound clips or making fusion clips, which would be redundant to do, but you could also do it that way. But this essentially in Fusion changes its endings. So now it is strictly a 0 to 163 frame per second or frame length comp. But over here, even if we were to cut this right here, this still has the full lengths of either end around the cut. Like if we go into Fusion, we can see this is the clip. These yellow bars is the clip we actually can see in the edit page. This is that cut clip, but still has the data for everything for before and after it. This just has the information from inside the compound clip. So that's my suggestion. There's not really a perfect fix, I wouldn't think, but maybe you can do different nodes to do the same effect. But I don't know. You probably do have to use this one kind of node. Wouldn't compounding? Yeah, it does cause problems with the frame rate, doesn't it? Yeah, because the compound clips are set to, I think, the default timeline frame rate, but you're actually retiming on the clip frame rate if it's on the clip itself. So there's not really a perfect solution to this, I don't think. Because either way, you're having one issue. I know I've seen some other people do some retiming stuff. I don't know if theirs also has these same issues, or if they found a way around it. Maybe you could look at some other people's retime stuff. I'll even look. Do I have any retime tools? Or not really retime, but speed ramp. Yeah, I don't think so. I have a speedboat, courtesy of Accession, which I actually asked him about this. He made this with just Lua scripts or maybe Python scripts. I don't know if he made the actual controls, but he at least made the Fusion comps with a script. I don't know what exactly he did to convert it into the polylines, but pretty cool stuff. Actually, are these polylines? I don't think they are. I'm pretty sure these are just images. Yeah. These are images that he has inside of his scripts folder. Which is why he has to install a bunch of stupid images that took like half an hour to install. Yeah, I'm guessing he made the comp itself with a bunch of scripts, because these images I'm guessing just came from a website or something. I have no idea how they made them. Why aren't they vector assets? I don't know. They're just PNGs he has in storage in the scripts folder. I do really like them. They're really cool, but like we have the technology. We have the shape system. And you can totally make a script that converts things into oh, maybe. I guess I don't know totally. Because you'd have to figure out a way to like read the image data and like where the lines are and translate that into polygon data. But I am almost positive that that method exists somewhere somehow. Like we can totally use just the S system, like the shape system. Or we can even use actual actually, can we import actual vector images through loader nodes besides like PNGs? Like, can we import what are they called? Like SVGs or no, not SVGs. Reactor has a vector snapshot tool that uses Potrace raster to vector. Oh shoot, you're right. I've seen that before. Ignore my 60 bajillion things, by the way. I really need to go through and clear some of those out. Some of those are just testing. Although I will say, Reactor could use a bit of CSS polish and a little bit of styling because it's a little bit boring. And I feel like we need to just have an expansion on the left column for more descriptive and more inclusive things. But yeah, there's like a I mean, if I look up vector, I'm sure I'll find it. Vector snapshot. Is that what you're talking about from Andrew? Generates an SVG vector traced version of an image. Yeah. But the problem with the compound clip is the FPS changes. We did talk about that, Carvinci. I don't know if you popped out for that or something. It runs the Potrace binary of an image in the left viewers, saves it in the Fusion temp path, then imports it back into the composition. Dude, that's crazy. Like, you could totally just use this to remake. Like, we have the technology. You could just use. I'm gonna bring this up to X now. I'm gonna DM X after the stream and be like, dude, check out this script. It makes your life way easier. Like, you could have made this way faster, I'm sure, or at least made it vectorized so that users don't have to install. How many images was it again? Like 500? Vector snapshot has carried you, dude. I don't know why I've never even heard of it, but that is amazing. I'm gonna be using that for every logo I animate now, because that's actually ridiculously much easier than what I was doing. God damn. Let me see. Can I actually load it right now? Can I see how to use it? Andrew, is it in here? Vector snapshot. Oh, we're installing dependencies. Ignore this. This is... Where the fuck am I? Oh, it took the image I had. Oh. It didn't import it back in. Okay, so I had the image selected, and it did convert it. But it didn't import it back in. In fact, it's not actually letting me import it at all. Can we not use SVGs? We can use BMPs. Are BMPs vector? Although this isn't a vectorized system, so... Yeah, this isn't a vectorized system, so you can't even see it. I thought it was gonna like make path data. Oh, you're right. Yeah, SVGs do get imported that way, so that it does create path data. Because it creates the SVG. Now, is the SVG good? Does it work, or is it no? Or is it one of those that like it kind of doesn't work? And it's just kind of iffy. Because I've had a lot of SVGs that are like, meh. Sure, whatever you say. okay, it created an outlined trace of it. It didn't create the actual inside border lines. That may be actually better. That's actually really good. Actually really good. A camera photo is going to be a rough example. Yeah. But this was really nice. This was a good example right here. It's definitely not vectorized, and that is not their fault. Resolve just needs to update how they handle vector images and I keep opening up that image and SVGs. They need to update this to actually use the shape system, because this is ridiculous. The fact that they've had the shape system for years and they won't update the VSG importer to use that new system so we can actually have vector images from VSGs instead of just having this weak excuse for vector. Yeah, like they add features, and then they decide to not expand on old features based off of the new stuff. They just add stuff and they're not actually updating the old stuff, which is an issue with a lot of softwares nowadays. Premiere Pro has been doing that a lot, which is why they have the crashing issues and all the issues they have. And a weirdly off-topic example of Minecraft doing this a lot too, where they add features but they don't update the old ones. It's a really weird common issue that I've been seeing with companies, that they'll add stuff, but who cares about the stuff that already exists? Who gives a shit? Obviously not the users of the software. Who cares about them? Right? They don't want updated features or anything. They want the same old great stuff with just new stuff on top. That's what the users love. If the person that made the script we were talking about doesn't want to rewrite it with vector, it's not even him. I'll at least take the image library and hyper compose or compress them so that it's a smaller package. I did the same thing for X Sessions logo generator macro. We love the keyframe page. Oh, the keyframe page. The thing that's existed in Resolve since its infancy. Or in Fusion, I guess, since its infancy. Not even to mention the keyframes in spline editors on the edit page. We don't even want to talk about that. That is an entirely other video. Like, that is a horrible experience. It's crazy. They just won't update stuff. Yeah, we don't use that ever. I've used it maybe 6 times. Like, I use it for super, super dirty edits on the edit page. But most of the time, I'm using a Fusion comp anyway, because I'm using a Fusion effect that I've made or someone else has made. So I'm usually animating within Fusion anyway. So I don't even have to worry about using these options on the edit page. Because what's the point? They're so difficult to use. There's no good presets. You can't manipulate the splines how you want. Now, I will say Fusion's not much better with the spline panel or the keyframe panel, but like, oh boy. Oh no, the color page, the keyframes on the color page need to be burned with fire. It is somehow worse. It is so bad. I have never experienced keyframing more annoying. I had a coworker who was trying to use that for all of their masking needs. So like they'd create transitions between 2 different clips, and they would, if there was like a single like post like moving across the screen to help transition the 2 clips, they would go into the color page and keyframe the move over the entire transition, and it was awful. I eventually taught them, okay, this is how you do it in Fusion, and you can do it much faster and much easier. Forget the color page, dude. It is only for coloring. Don't touch the keyframes. It's ridiculous how bad it is. It's crazy, dude. What time we got? Oh, it's 6. I probably should get some food. I'm sitting here thinking, man, I'm getting warm. Wonder what time it is. Oh, it's dinner time. Well, I might go and start ending things off now. I will answer any last minute questions or comments that we want to talk about though. But just to let you know, I will be beginning to wind things down because I'm sweating in this room because we don't have good circulation in here. I once knew someone that was so afraid of fusion that they used an inverted point tracker on an object in the color page for stabilization. Bro, I don't even... An inverted point tracker. How would we even use that to stabilize a clip? I don't know. I can't even understand how they did that. I never even thought to try anything like that. That's crazy. They are so more scared of fusion than doing something completely ridiculous in the color page. Like, that is honestly how all of my coworkers are too. I'm the only fusion guy, which is also really sad because when I leave them, they're going to be suffering because they won't take time to learn fusion. Point tracking then set the weight to negative 100 or 1, whichever one it is. Ooh, but actually, I'm afraid of the color page. Actually, no, for real though, the color page is kind of intimidating. I haven't used it really since I did like log footage, which we haven't touched in a long time at my company because they moved to using a Cine format or even just doing fucking 709 because they hate themselves and they don't care about having proper color adjustment abilities. They always found that having it in log was just, oh, why is it so difficult? Why can't we just get this to look right? I don't know, maybe do it right? I don't know. They're like, oh, the darks in our images are always so grainy. Oh, the light balance is awful. So use your camera how people are asking you to use it. Oh, but it can't be having to be used that way. That they wouldn't have made the camera that way. They probably didn't make it that way and didn't give a fuck. None of the other editors have things like Fusion built in. That's why, which is why DaVinci is so intimidating for people. Yeah. Like you get into editing your timeline and then you're like, oh, I want to do some graphics. I've heard about Fusion. And then they hop into Fusion and they're like, oh my God. Yeah, I do say the color page, the tracking in there, the magic mask, I think the magic mask is sometimes better, but also sometimes worse. I think that you're better off magic masking in the edit page for, I think, people. It's been a while since I've done masking, so I don't remember exactly what my thought process was on this a few months ago. But I think color page is great for people, and then the fusion page is great for anything else. 19 got a big improvements to the magic mask. Ooh, why aren't the magic masks different? Like between fusion and the edit page, or between fusion and the color page? That's a good question. Like, why do they handle so differently? I know that, yeah, like in Fusion, you don't have the two options between object and person, but in the color page you do. And I know that they made the color page stuff first, and then they just added it as a node for Fusion after the fact. I know that for a fact. Before Magic Mask, I could actually get away with lazy roto with the qualifier on the color page. No, honestly, that is a good way to do it. That's kind of how we did it on my old job, but it wasn't as easy, I guess. Like it was, yeah, because a lot of our stuff was at like 8-bit, so we didn't have a great time with it. Did I miss any messages? Yeah, and then also like Resolve having Fusion, and it's like a node-based system. Like you hop into Fusion for the first time to make a graphic, and you're like, oh shit. Where are my layers? Where'd everything go? Why do I see this big grid in front of my face with a random thing in it? The media out node is what I'm referring to there. And they're like, how do I use this? Why are there two different screens? Why is the inspector here? How do I use any of this? Like yeah. It's a big jump for people who have never used a node-based system. And then Fusion is on a different level with a bunch of its own quirks and stuff as well. Like, if you've used Blender to do geometry nodes and stuff, why does moving my node upward not move my element up to the upper layer? Seriously. Shit, I forget what I was gonna say now. I was so focused on your message. Seriously though, like people have such issues with like the layering in Blender. I was talking about Blender. Like if you've used the geometry nodes in Blender, they're pretty nice to use. They have a lot of different features on the nodes themselves. Like the controls are on the nodes. They're not on like an extra window to view the controls. And they're limited controls per node. But each node has a lot of powerful functions and they can do multiple different things. And they have multiple different noise makers, which is nice, like noise generators, like we have the fast noise. And the nodes just are way easier to understand because everything is on the node. Nothing is you have to look at this other screen way over here to see what the node you just clicked on is actually doing. Now I still feel like for people who are used to layers, figuring out how to layer things in Fusion is where things get really complicated because they just can't understand, oh, you have to use a merge to put this over this, and yellow is the background, green is the input, and you have to do this for every single layer, or use a multi-merge, which is essentially a layer list, but also fuck you, because it's actually worse in some cases, but it's also not in other cases, and it's like, it's up to you to figure out how to use it, how you want to use it, which is also a plus, but it's also a negative. Because if you're a new user and you're looking at this stuff, you get super intimidated by everything you could do, and there's no like direct single path to do something, that you just look at it and you just get overwhelmed and you just give up super fast. I've gotten that response from people all the time. Multi-merge is going to simplify that for a lot of people, but also make a lot of new compositors make it harder to read node graphs. Yeah. I think multi-merge is only really good if you want to do, like, I use it for effects, because then you're able to, like, order the actual effects on how they're affecting what's below it. So I think it's really nice for that, but also anything else is just kind of meh. Because if you do it with regular layers, then you're just making it more confusing for the people who are trying to look at it later. Unless your graph is super clean and laid out. Not to toot my own horn, but I feel like this graph is pretty easy to understand, that everything's leading into one multi-merge. Because you can see everything has its own like branching path and they all lead back to the one node. But also, you're going to look at this and you'll be, if you don't really know what the multi-merge is, you're going to look at this and be like, what the fuck is going on here? What the fuck is this? The only thing I'm excited for to try in 19 is the weird invisible fusion comps on the selected layers. Otherwise, they didn't really add anything interesting to me. I think the optimizations for some stuff is nice, and the changes to the Text Plus node are nice. Like having a dedicated control for your center point, which is really handy. But yeah, the invisible fusion comps, well, I've never even touched this before, but let's see. You can create referenced fusion composition, give it a random name, which just takes your video name, and then adds clip 1 to the end of it, or comp 1 to the end of it. Let's create that. Okay. We don't see it in the effects panel, but if we right click, we can find it in the media pool, we can unlink it, and we can create a new one. So the only... You can't see. You're right. So the only way that we can actually edit this is in the media pool. We have to open it up in here and then add it, because I don't think you can go straight into the fusion comp from here, can you? Is this the fusion comp? I can't tell. That's also a problem, because I don't know if this is actually the fusion comp or not. Is this is the fusion comp, but how can I tell this is the fusion comp? There's no name anywhere, and the clip is still just on this clip. And now I'm just confused. So if I add text into here, that's paint. Somehow I missed the text. Yeah, maybe invisible isn't the best idea. No, for real. I'm so confused. Okay, so it's on the clip now. If I go into the clip now, okay, it's on there. So currently, the only difference between going into Fusion and adding a text into it now versus just doing it the regular way is the fact that you're able to go to a different clip now and you can create a new How do you add a new Fusion comp? Or how do you add a new reference comp? They should graphically notate the comp similar to how they show compound clips instead of nested timeline. Yeah, or they should show it like at the top. Like instead of showing whatever node you have selected or somewhere else up here, also show the name of your comp. Because every comp has a name. Even if it's just on a clip, it still has the name of your clip. And if it's on a Fusion comp on the timeline, there's still a name for that clip. So why don't we see the name for what we're in? Why is it just, oh, hope you know what you're looking at. Good luck. That's also a gripe of mine when it comes to titles. Because in here, the only way you know that you're actually in the title is because you can see this. But how do you know if you're on a clip in a title? Or how do you know if you're just in a title like this? You don't know. There's no easy way to figure it out. Unless, I guess, in certain situations, like you can look at the comp and see, okay, is there a media in node? Then I'm probably on a clip. But then am I on a compound clip? Am I in a Fusion comp? Am I referencing something else with this media in? Might be easier if there are multiple clips stacked upon each other for each other reference comp. Yeah. Like how you can do like a regular Fusion comp. If you just do a bunch of clips layered, you can make a combined Fusion comp. And like you can have multiple layers, and this is media in 1, this is media in 2. Yeah, but like you can't do that with the referenced comps. You can only do that with actual Fusion comps, which is also really annoying. Like you can only have a single clip inside of here, and then you just want to reference it back. Do you just drag the thing on to it? No, it wants to insert a clip. And it's media offline because it's wanting a media in. How do you add a referenced composition to another clip? What? Where's the button? Because this is where you could create it. Yeah, I basically want to make a Fusion clip with multiple clips without compressing them into a timeline. That'd be really nice, yeah. Why can't we do that? I'm pretty sure you have to do that. I'm pretty sure you can do that with reference comps. You're pretty sure you can. So let's undo this a bunch until it's no longer a reference comp. And let's just put this above this. Here, actually, let's duplicate this above this. If I highlight them both, right click, create referenced Fusion comp, create. Okay, no, I just did the one on the top. It did not do the one on the bottom. Wait. What? It did them both. But it didn't show it did them both. So they're both in here. You can totally do that. You can make like a transition with referenced Fusion comps if you wanted to. Or have a bunch of stuff from your edit page in a Fusion comp now. How it works for adding it onto other clips, I have no idea. Because how would you... How is it going to tell which one's which? I'm guessing media in 1 is, yeah, it looks like this is layer 1, and this is layer 2, based off of the layer list here, because it starts at 0 because of coding. Can I have my screen back? Okay. So yeah, I don't know how this is gonna work. Because like, how would you do it on a different clip now? Well, first off, how do you add a clip? I've yet to find that solution. I can create, I can misclick, and it's just gonna create a new one, but I can't add? Is it an option in the inspector? Like if I right click this, is there add to currently selected? Insert selected item into timeline. Using timecode with the handles, append to timeline. No. Is it one of the options way up here? What the fuck, dude? Clip? Link to reference composition. Oh my god. What does that even do? Do I have to have it selected? Do I have to both selected? Clip. Link to reference composition. Oh my god. Do you have to do it that way every time, or was that just a way that I found? You change the footage by swapping the footage on the timeline depending on which layer they are on. I don't know if you can add another clip. Yeah. It seems really restrictive. Also, really weird roundabout ways to add the reference comps onto a clip. Is that the way you have to do that? Do you have to go up to clip with them both selected to add it on there? Like, the more I keep looking at this, the less I'm liking this feature. I thought it was going to be really cool too. It seemed like it was going to be a fairly interesting addition. But I'm sitting here and I'm thinking they didn't think this through. Who was asking for this? That's my first question. Who asked for this? My second question is, who is going to use this? Yeah, right? Like, why is it not in the context? I can unlink, I can find it in the composition, or I can just make a new one. Why is it not here? If I have to go up to clip every time, I am never using this feature. I think we need to manually add another fusion comp on the very top or bottom of the reference comp, purely just to mark out where the reference comp is. Honestly, this is ridiculous. Check if there's even a keybind you can map it to. Oh yeah, to add it to one, yeah. Keyboard customization. Oh, I have to close this, I guess. Let's see, I'm looking for link to referenced fusion composition. So if I just type in link to referenced fusion composition, there's not one by default, but you can add one. Let's just use 5, numpad 5, sure. So if I have this selected and I have, is this the first one? Yeah, this is the first one. I have this. If I press 5, okay, let's try this one, because this one actually already had one on there. Okay, it does work. The problem is I have the auto selecting of whichever one up here, of like whatever you have selected down here, it'll select it up here in the media pool, so it did some weird stuff for me. So you can't map it to a keybind. You still have to have them both selected. Why don't bring up a menu like you do for render cache? Why not bring up a list like this? It's where you just like click the one you want and that's the one that you add to it. Why do you have to do this weird media pool gymnastics? Like, what is going on here? It would be easier if they made an adjustment clip that had immediate in for every subsequent layer beneath it, then just adjustment clip would hold the referenced composition's fusion space. Yeah, like that'd be great. Like if they did something like that. Like even making a fusion comp that when you added it, it would tell how many layers are below it, which actually might be feasible for someone to do potentially. Because isn't there start render script, frame render script? No, I don't think so. There may be a way in scripting to detect when you add a comp or like when a comp is created, but I don't know if you can do that directly from a new fusion comp, or if you made an effect that did this, like a separate fusion thing in the effects panel. Like if you made like an effect like this or something, or I guess like a generator. Like actually, didn't Patrick do? Yeah, he made like a better adjustment clip that's just a fusion comp. Like you could do something like this, but like have it be a little smarter. The setting would have to be on the media in node. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Could we just auto detect it and it creates new media in nodes? Maybe not, but we could do no layers. What do you mean no layers? We're on the timeline. We're over some clips. Why are there no layers on the timeline? Am I stupid? Or is this being stupid? Okay. I think that only exists if you're in a compound clip. Maybe the compound clip, but it only exists if it's a fusion comp. Like if you've made 2 layers into a fusion comp, like how this sort of did. Because this is a fusion comp. Like when we combine these two into a fusion clip, this creates a new timeline. This is just what the referenced clip is. It's just creating a new timeline like thing like this. So like this. Can't this open up in a timeline too? Theoretically. Because that's all this is. It doesn't look like it's an option to do so. But this is 1000% just a fusion comp timeline that the fusion comp reads as its base information. Where am I at? Because that's why it's not showing up for this. Because that feature only exists if the fusion comp is referencing to a timeline that was specifically made for fusion. But I don't know how you'd even set that up to begin with. I want to say DaVinci Resolve makes some weird choices, but really it's Blackmagic Design makes some really strange choices here. Why not give us the most power that we could have? Why give us the weakest amount of power? Can I undo Fusion Comp? Not really. Cool in theory, absolute shit execution. Exactly. Yeah. I've noticed that a lot with some of the things they've been adding. Yeah. Like some of the stuff they've added is like, wow, that's really cool in theory. Like in my head, that sounds like a really cool feature. But then they actually show it off to us, and it's like a fourth of what we all expected it to actually be able to do, or what it actually could do. And they just don't care. Or maybe they care and they just can't put any energy into it. which is probably the actual reason. Because money and companies and capitalism, probably just restricting it because of that. I'll wait for some more messages. Fusion doesn't pay the bills. Yeah, most of their other products do, like all their softwares for broadcasting and other cameras, big paychecks for them. Resolve is kind of just an entry point for people to get used to Blackmagic, and then they're just like, hey, buy my other stuff because this actually makes the money. But if you want Resolve, we have a decent editing software for you to use. Ha ha. And then they don't care about it after they make it. I keep bad-mouthing Blackmagic that I'm just gonna get blacklisted one day. like they'll just never invite me to any events. At least give us the resources to fix what you won't fix. Yeah. Seriously though. Like, give us the features that you're blocking us from having so we can do the things you won't add. Because there are features that we can obviously use if they were just implemented correctly. But I feel like some of this code, like I have a feeling that the layer system is hard coded to only work within their specific like fusion compositions, fusion clips. And they didn't really consider how to make it work for non-fusion clips. And I wonder if that's just how the code works. Cough LUT controls. I barely have used LUTs, to be honest with you. I don't know what LUTs are. Do you mean like LUTs with like the curve system, like how you have in modifiers and Fusion? That's the only example of LUTs that I can think of, besides like coloring LUTs. That's the only controls I can think of for LUTs. I feel like it's mostly just us two, and maybe like some people are just watching us complain about DaVinci Resolve and Blackmagic's design stuff. Yeah, actual lookup table controls. Yeah, not LUTs, the colored LUTs, but the actual lookup tables. Yeah. People are just watching us right now on the stream just complain about BMD, because honestly they have a lot to complain about with BMD. There's some great stuff. I like their products. Blackmagic is just one product that they're starting to slack on in some cases. If you want more complaining, join the Discord. Seriously. It's the last link in the description. Go join the Discord to hear more of us complain about DaVinci Resolve and talk about the awfulness of developing for it. It's great. Oh, also, I don't know why you didn't just think of this when you first popped into the chat. Your message on the Discord asking about like buttons or controls disappearing when you're copying and pasting nodes and macros. Don't have a good answer for you. I've experienced that too with my with the macro type switcher that's coming with the macro creator. I've experienced that it just removes controls that shouldn't be able to be removed, and I don't know why, because it works on a bunch of different macros, but then there are just a select few built in certain ways that it just is like, fuck it, I don't know. And to my knowledge, it copies and pastes pretty similarly to how you would normally. I guess it, it just copies and pastes. I'm thinking of refresh that deletes it and undeletes it. Yeah. So it does the exact same thing you're doing to cause this problem, copying and pasting. But why the fuck is it getting rid of controls? I have no explanation, because when you're copying a node, you copy every single part of its data. There's nothing you're leaving behind when you copy it. Yeah, they appear on the macro controls, but disappears on the child control. Child control? What do you mean by child control? That could be meaning a couple different things. For Mac, child node inside the node, or child node inside the macro, it disappears from the child node. It disappears from the node inside of the macro, but it's still on the macro. How the fuck does that make any sense? What? I do have the path for Mac. Let me find that real fast. I just need to open up my installer script because I have that in there. Yeah, super weird glitch. I have no explanation as to why it's doing that, and unfortunately no solution. And I hope that I don't run into that for when I make my own macros in the near future, because that's going to suck. I hope that it gets fixed if we bring up enough attention to BMD about it. Or I'm looking for documents. Here we go. Okay. Let me just make sure there's nothing like super secure that needs to be hidden. Because this is a fairly powerful script. Okay. So for the Darwin OS, because it's called Darwin in some cases, I don't know why. There are a couple different paths where it could go. It could be in your library, application support, Blackmagic Design, DaVinci Resolve, Fusion, and scripts. Or is this the same path? Fuck. This maybe just be the same path. I thought it was different. Yeah, no, it looks like it just goes in one spot then. Oh wait, no, this needs to have this. That's why I'm so confused here. Okay, so it's either going to be with a user like environment at the front, so like it's going to have, I think like slash users slash your username and then slash and then library application support blah 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 blah. And I think there's a special way to get to library, to get to application support. I used to have a Mac and I completely forget how to get to that stuff. Because I think it's either the same folder as where Minecraft stores its stuff, or it's just a place I went to a lot on there because I did DaVinci Resolve stuff on the Mac. Which was an awful idea. That Mac was horrible and can no longer open up Resolve. It crashes every single time. So yeah, it should be in like a library application support to just reboot myself for like a 16th time. Alrighty. I might go ahead and end it off with the stream. I gotta get some dinner on me. Don't know what I'm gonna have. Maybe a hamburger. I don't know. If the hamburger's not a solid brick, maybe. But yeah, if that's all the questions or anything else, definitely. If there's any more questions lingering, check out the Discord, ask away on there. We will be active on there all the time. I may not always be able to answer, but at the very least, we have a bunch of other great people on there to answer questions. And all of them are really good devs. I recommend asking any questions on the Discord. Ding. Okay. Y'all have a good rest of your weekend, and I'll see you on this Friday's video, which is finishing off the macro at long last. Until the week after that, we'll be talking about more macro stuff. You guys have a great weekend. Take care and see ya. Look forward to the new macro creator. I do too. It's coming out in like 10 days, which is terrifying because it's not done yet. Okay, bye.